Hello, hello. Welcome to Sparkle.Sanctuary. Thanks for joining today. This is a post review of Outdoor Tree. This is a Make Market kit that I purchased recently and unboxed recently. If I can remember, I will try to put the unboxing in the description box below. This kit I don't believe is for sale right now, but they may come out with it next season, and I know several people have this kit, and so I kind of wanted to share my thoughts in case anybody hasn't completed it or is looking to complete it in the future. First, I want to kind of talk about the rendering. Now, I think that this image turned out beautiful. I love the way this looks. There's one AB in here, and so there's little bits where it's like super white where you can see those actually reflect, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to show it in screen, but I'll see if I can't bring that up there. But there are places like this right here that have a little bit of a different shine that have ABs in them. And I really do like that subtle effect. I like that it was just the one kind of special drill. I kind of like that it gave it a little bit of shine without making it too extreme, because it is a nature picture and I prefer things that are supposed to be more natural and more realistic to have less of those special drills, if that makes sense. I did love the rendering. There was nice amounts of color blocking in the background. The tree was very confetti heavy, but it wasn't too much confetti, and it wasn't unnecessary confetti, I feel like, just because there were so many things going on to make it really look like there's lights on this tree. Confetti, in case anybody doesn't know, is when you have a lot of color changes in a small area. So like this tree, as you can see, there's lots going on. There's lots of different colors. And there's peaches and yellows and greens and blues and blacks. There's all sorts of colors going on in a very small area. And it's really hard to use a multi-placer, and you have to end up placing these pretty much just one or two at a time. Where the rest of this, there is definitely like, this is one color, this is one color. You can see the outline, and you can use your multi-placer to place a lot of those. The confetti areas ended up being the most enjoyable on this kit, mostly because of the drill quality. So I'll go ahead and go into that next. The drill quality was subpar, to say the least. I had hoped that the company Make Market would upgrade the square diamonds that they had. The last kit that I did that was a square Witch Girl. I have that in my post review playlist. I mentioned in there that there was some gapping and that the drills just felt a little funny, but I had hoped that because this was a newer release that this would be better. And honestly, I have to say, I think this quality might actually be worse. I'll kind of pull this up so you can kind of see just along, like, I had to go back in, and even with fixing, I'm usually a pretty straight placer, and even with fixing, there's just a ton of gaps. There's a ton of places where this happens. I'm not satisfied with the quality of this, just because the drills were small and the grid size was probably a little too big on top of that. There's one that just popped up, but I am not finding them popping off because they're just so much gapping in there. I'm not sure if you can see that. I'm hoping you can, but it did make it really difficult to consistently place the drills on here. And if I were to here's another good section. If I were to put a light pad underneath this, there you can see like the lines just kind of are very gappy, and it was really hard to keep them together. But if I put a light pad underneath this, you would see like the insane amount of space that's underneath in between each drill. Each one sets apart from every other drill, and it's not just a row of them or a set of them. Like, there's no way these would, like, when I do a square diamonds, I like for them to kind of be touching each other. If they're too much, they overlap. If they're too far apart, then there's gapping, and that's what's happening here. I didn't even end up keeping the ABs, just because I was just so ready to get all the other drills out that I completely forgot about them. And so they're in the trash drills as well. So I went on for that for a minute, but I'm really disappointed. I love the way this turned out, and I'm glad it turned out pretty, but I was really disappointed with how long it took me to finish this, considering how much of it was color blocking. I should have been able to get through this in a breeze. I use a 15 placer typically, but I could not use any more than 3 or 4 at a time, or the gaps would be so insane. If I used a 15 placer, there was almost a full, like, you could almost fit in 16 in a 15 places, if that makes sense, 16 of these diamonds. So yeah, it was really rough and took me a while, But like I said, I love the way this turned out. And from a distance, it looks fabulous and would be something that I would potentially even be considering putting up next Christmas, because I do like the way this looks. And I think it's a really neat concept of having this, lit tree out in the middle of nowhere. The canvas quality, as far as that goes, the glue was pretty good. There were a couple places that were a little bit slick, but honestly, I find that happens a lot here where I live. I don't know if it's because there's so many temperature changes or what, but yeah, there was a couple little slick spots, but other than that, it was fine. I think the glue was fine. I think the canvas quality itself is just, it's a cheap, like plasticky, you can hear plasticky kind of canvas. So it's not anything like to write home about or that's anything special, but it does its job. It lays flat and it does what it needs to. The cover sheet was just a regular, typical color cover sheet. I didn't have any issues with it. It didn't stick too much. I didn't have any issues with that. So I had no complaints there. And the symbol quality, I will kind of touch on the symbol quality just because we had a couple symbols that looked similar enough. It was the letter P and the letter R. Let's see if I can get this. So I'll show you here. P and R are both on a green background with a black letter. And when you're talking about it being in the tree in this confetti heavy area, it was really easy to get those mixed up, especially with the light pad underneath. And there were a couple symbols that were a little bit like with the white lettering, like the G, and I'm trying to remember maybe the B. I'm sorry, I don't remember. That were with the light pad on underneath was also made it difficult for those to read. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you're having trouble reading symbols with the light pad, see if you can't find overhead light and turn the light pad off and see if that helps, or vice versa. Overall, even with the problems, I would say I paid very, very little for this image. I absolutely would purchase it again. The kit itself is only $15, I think, in the United States. And that was before, like, they have coupons and stuff all the time at Michael's. And so I know I didn't pay $15 for this, but even if I had it, it's a full diamond painting and it's a beautiful image. So I think it was worth the price. Like I said, I wish I had known going into it, if I had had a little bit more of awareness, then I maybe would have picked a different time to have done this canvas. And that's why I was frustrated. But if, any point in the future, I would have been willing to do this. It's just one of those canvases that you kind of need to know that that's the problem, so that you're kind of prepared to go into it knowing that you're going to take a little longer than you thought on this canvas. Like I said, I would absolutely purchase this again. Let me know in the comments if you did purchase this image and what your thoughts are. If you did this already, or if you plan to do it in the near future. I really think this really is a great Christmas image. And like I said, if I had known ahead of time that the drills were going to be so bad, I would have given myself a little bit more time so that I could enjoy it a little bit more. But anyway, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them on the comment section below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe. It's free. Remember to take time to take care of you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.